So I put about 250 hours in total in all of the Black Ops 6 zombie experiences from Terminus up until Shattered Veil, and I wanted to make this honest review of what I think about Black Ops 6 zombies, as the majority of the content has now released, with the only map not being released yet being Janus Towers. Now, we don't know officially if this is the last zombies map, but usually DLC 4 concludes the zombies experiences, and I wanted to talk about each and every single zombies map we've experienced thus far. So our first zombies map obviously is Terminus, and what a wild ride this map went on, because this went from being one of the most anticipated zombie maps to ever release, especially after the negative reception of COD Next, to now being one of the least favorite zombie experiences. And I can't believe that I'm going to show you this, but this is from an official poll that people made for the best zombies map in Black Ops 6. Take a look at this. Terminus is now the lowest rated, sitting at 9%, with Liberty Falls above that at 12%, Citadelle Des Morts at 16%, with Shattered Veil taking the majority of the vote at a whopping 63%. Now, is this because of recency bias? I'm going to have to assume so, because listen, Shattered Veil has just been about 3 weeks old at this point, and to be honest, I don't think Terminus is nearly at all the worst zombies experience on this game. I know, granted, the tomb wasn't even a part of that whole poll, but regardless, I don't think Terminus deserves this level of hate, and I want to talk about what I think Black Ops 6 does great and what it doesn't do great as well. What I think BO6 Zombies does is it really is an upgrade from Cold War Zombies. For the people that like to grind camos and get your levels and even enjoy side Easter eggs, Black Ops 6 has done an incredible job, and I would actually think that this is probably the best zombies game for side Easter eggs I think that we have ever seen. There has been some really unique ones, some really powerful ones, especially in Terminus, where you're literally able to get a permanent double points, and so that I think is incredible. And the only issue that I personally have with the majority of Black Ops 6 is I do feel that I really dislike the triple pack-a-punch system that you're seeing on your screen right now. This, to me, ruins a lot of the progression from the older games, and it's funny because if you're a Warzone player, if you're a multiplayer player where you just care about grinding one weapon, getting the camos, getting the headshots, it's going to be easy to play Call of Duty Zombies for you. But however, if you're a Zombies player that's used to this immersive environments from Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3, where every nook and cranny held secrets towards what the greater meaning of what you were playing was, I feel like that is not really here with Black Ops 6. While I do think this is the most customizable game we've ever had for Black Ops 6, especially with all the different HUD options and all of that, it definitely sort of makes the player play in a specific way. And I don't really like when a lot of people say, oh, just don't use this mechanic, because why would I not want to use the best option that the game provides? And obviously, that is going to have to be with the mutant injections. For the wonder weapon on Terminus, you have the Beam Smasher, and while it is a cool and unique looking wonder weapon, it has absolutely no competition against the mutant injection, because as soon as you pop that thing, you are invincible, you turn into a mangler, and you can literally instantly take out anything in your path. And especially with the boss health of the zombies initially when this game first came out, and the spam of the manglers and the amalgams, it was absolutely ridiculous. And I still think to this day that the mutant injection will probably never get patched, to the point that it will always be the most viable strategy inside of the whole game. However, I do think that Zombies is quite fun still. Like, I don't think Black Ops 6 is a bad experience at all. I just think for the people that enjoyed the OG mechanics, this game is probably not going to be the experience for you. I think this game is more so catered towards the Cold War systems. And honestly, this game can be quite easy. I mean, you can get all the perks. There's no perk limit. There's gobblegums. I think a lot of people have said that gobblegums are kind of like this unnecessary feature with this game, because the game is already so easy. And I can kind of agree. I don't really see, even in speedruns for a lot of the zombies maps, that a lot of people are even using the gobblegums, which I find kind of interesting, in all honesty. And so ultimately, I think Black Ops 6 really excels in making the player feel like there is a lot to do with side Easter eggs, with all the different customizable aspects of the game. But where I do feel it falls flat is obviously just in terms of the immersiveness of the environments. And I have to say, listen, Terminus has an incredible boss fight. It's got a 3-phase Kraken boss fight, which is absolutely incredible. And I think it's easy enough for people to get invested in. And I have to just say, in general, Black Ops 6 has done an incredible job with their boss fights. I mean, we went from the Terminus boss fight towards the Citadel giant boss fight. The only boss fight I would have to say that's kind of been really mid is the Sentinel artifact. But that map, people are saying, is like the filler experience, which I disagree with, because any DLC that comes out with zombies, it's so scarce that you might as well just count it as an official map launch. And I feel like the Tomb definitely detracted from a lot of people's hype from this game. But in terms of Terminus, I think this map did an incredible job introducing a lot of new aspects to zombies while keeping it fresh. However, I think the tie-ins to the Warzone systems of the rarities constantly being in your way, with you focusing on salvage a lot of the time more than points, and also the rarities with the guns, kind of detracts each zombie's map and kind of makes them more feel so similar, especially where a lot of the zombies maps after Terminus really copy and paste all of the enemies that Terminus brought in, like the parasites, like the amalgams, even like the manglers. And so that is something that I really wish would have been fixed after Terminus, where we would have potentially maybe gotten a parasite injection or some sort of new kill streaks involving turning into other enemies. But it seems like the mangler ended up being the most copy and pasted thing. And I do feel like Terminus does lack a little bit of environmental depth. A lot of the areas do kind of seem similar, even though the gameplay is fun of going into the boats and going around. And I definitely think that Terminus was one of the most unique zombie map experiences for Black Ops 6 and a great way to launch the game. And I feel like after this map and Citadelle Des Morts, a lot of the trajectory and the momentum of this game started going downhill. But we obviously can't talk about Citadelle Des Morts until we talk about the one and only Liberty Falls. Now, I have to say, this was one of the most incredible survival experiences we've ever had for a Call of Duty Zombies game. Now, is that saying a lot for a Zombies title? I think so, just because the last couple games that we had before Black Ops Cold War and Black Ops 6, Black Ops 4, you didn't really have these survival experiences where they made it really, really easy to take out zombies and just enjoy the game. And so even though Liberty Falls was the most hated map probably at launch, bar maybe Transit from Black Ops 2, I think they did a pretty good job bringing it back. However, I do think that honestly one of the worst aspects about Black Ops 6 really is the boss variation and the wonder weapons. But even Liberty Falls does a good job with that. They bring back the jet gun. Sure, it's unoriginal, but at least they make it into an incredible wonder weapon that is arguably one of the best wonder weapons in the entirety of the game. And I think that's what makes it so fun. However, the Abominations come back from Forsaken on this map, and they are not that great. I'm going to be honest. I still, even to this day, prefer the Margwas right from Shadows of Evil as opposed to the Abomination. I just don't think that boss does a good enough job of, number one, being unique, and also number two, being balanced. I think it's one of the most unbalanced bosses I think we've ever seen, because it has 3 heads, it's pretty much undamageable, and it can go extremely fast. I think that was the big crutch with the Margwa back in Black Ops 3, was that it only had 3 heads for you to use, and that was like the easiest way to take it out because it was so slow and it incrementally gained speed. And so with Black Ops 6's Liberty Falls, I think this map is just fine. It's the map that most people ended up playing, and I honestly think because of the success of this map, this is kind of the reason why the Tomb ended up being created. And while I think this map is fun and it does utilize the zip lines well and the Easter egg is very easy, I definitely just don't think it really adds towards the lack of what original zombie players are feeling, where the environment definitely just seems like it's from some sort of Warzone map. It doesn't really have that layers to it like Black Ops 4 and and Black Ops 3 did, where it really felt like you were immersed into an adventure narrative. That is something that I really feel like Zombies has gone away from, especially in Black Ops 6, is incorporating a lot of the wacky aspects. And unfortunately, this really does continue with the DLCs, even though I think Liberty Falls for a lot of people now is a better Zombies experience than Terminus. I still think that at least Terminus tried to experiment a little bit more and went above and beyond. And listen, even though I don't think the story is that great in Terminus, it's definitely much better than Liberty Falls. Granted, we don't really know how the Liberty Falls story kind of continues, because we thought Shattered Veil would be kind of covering that, but it now seems like we're gonna have to wait until Janus Towers for it to come through. Regardless though, I think the weapon selection in Black Ops 6 is fine. It definitely shines more so on Liberty Falls as opposed to Terminus, just because it's a lot easier to get weapons on this map. It's a lot easier just to play. Melee Macchiato also is a pretty good perk. I have to say, like, it definitely had its shine more so in the next map, being Citadelle Des Morts, as opposed to this map. It's mainly just for like grinding the melee weapons, but outside of that, I definitely think Black Ops 6 had one of the better launches we've seen for Zombies. I think the only people that didn't feel like they were catered to in this Zombies launch was really the OG narrative players, which I definitely feel like I'm a part of, because I love BO3 and I do enjoy the BO4 storyline and what they were trying to do. And I get it, they're really trying to cater towards casuals for this game. So if you like Warzone multiplayer, or if you're just casually playing Zombies, you're gonna enjoy the Black Ops 6 Zombies launch, and I definitely think they did an incredible job with that. So for Terminus, honestly, I think I'd still rate this map like an A tier, and for Liberty Falls, I genuinely rate it a B tier. It's in that upper echelon of some of the best survival maps that we've had, but ultimately, the Black Ops 6 Zombies launch, in my opinion, took it safe and didn't really innovate a lot. And while the launch was pretty good, we got an incredible DLC 1 being Citadelle Des Morts. Now, Citadelle, in my opinion, went above and beyond for the first DLC. They really wanted to tackle the Drak aspect towards making a strong first entrance, which I think really paid off well for the start of Black Ops 6, because Citadelle was an incredible Zombies map experience. Adding in the 4 different elemental swords, the incredible Easter egg that actually gave lore towards the Richtofen backstory, a question that zombie fans have been asking for so long. I also think that the Pack-a-Punch camos in Citadelle Des Morts look incredible as opposed to either Terminus or Liberty Falls. And honestly, I think the Zombies map definitely, to me, breaches the S tier. I think a lot of people don't agree with that just because they can't agree with the triple pap, the rarities, the kill streak meta. And honestly, I get that. I totally understand. But I think as a map, this is the most amount of environment immersion that we've had in a Call of Duty Zombies map since Black Ops 4's Ancient Evil. I'll go ahead and say it. I think Citadelle Des Morts is definitely going to become the underrated Zombies map experience of this game, and it does the best it can with a lot of the mechanics from Black Ops 6. Like, the traps in this map literally answer towards a lot of people's problems with the lack of damage and also the lack of double tap at the time of this map's release. And now we have Shattered Veil, and also the Rigum Mark II is on every single Zombies map now, so it definitely makes this map a lot more fun to go back to and play. And honestly, I love the boss fight of this map. I love the Easter egg, everything that this Zombies map did in terms of the story, the immersion, everything. I enjoyed it, and I was pleasantly surprised, especially after a lot of the complaints that people had with Terminus and Liberty Falls with its lack of immersion. Some incredible side Easter eggs as well with wearable items. This was the first time that we've seen wearable items literally since like Black Ops 3's Garad Crovey, and also Revelations with the masks. And I think that was such a pleasant surprise with this map. I think the only issue a lot of people had, including myself, is a lot of the spam of the different enemies from Terminus and Liberty Falls that should have stayed there, like the parasites, like the amalgam, like the vermin. This map really did a great job debuting the new enemy, the Doppelgas, which was an incredible enemy, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it, but people didn't really like the inclusion of all the other bosses. And while I think there's so much lore that this map added, I definitely feel like it still obviously doesn't add up to the absolute goats of the Zombies maps, being like Drak, Origins, Mob of the Dead. All these Zombies maps definitely go above and beyond, and I think that just goes to show, just because once people people were able to speedrun the Easter egg and all that, it kind of fell off, I feel like, in terms of the hype from what a lot of people enjoyed. But regardless, I still think that this was an incredible zombies map. And honestly, I think really the downfall of Black Ops 6 definitely started after this zombies map, when they started adding in these like wacky LTMs, like the Squid Game mode that didn't even make sense past like round 10 and whatnot. And regardless, I think this map's layout is fun. I think the map's Easter egg is fun. I like the fast travel of this map. Everything in this map just gelled so well together. And also, the inclusion of Vulturate on this map was a beautiful surprise, and definitely, I think, really gave one of the greatest DLC 1 experiences that we've had in a while. Like, even compare Citadelle Des Morts to like Dead of the Night. Dead of the Night didn't have a trailer, didn't have nothing. This map really went above and beyond, and unfortunately, it was after Citadelle Des Morts. I would probably still rate this map like an S tier or like a high A tier, that we started getting the AI sort of voice problems with the voice actors, and a lot of voice actors unfortunately departed, which really, in my opinion, affected the next map for DLC 2 being the Tomb. Now, the Tomb, this is where I think it definitely fell off. I knew as soon as they started announcing a lot of the stuff in the zombies experience that this would probably be the worst BO6 zombies map to date, and I was absolutely right. They brought back the ice staff for no reason without really making it that much more powerful. Sure, there was a golden plate armor side Easter egg that was fun, but regardless, nothing really gelled well together on this map, especially with the inclusion of the perk being death perception. They just did not really understand what made Liberty Falls such an incredible zombies map, and they kind of made a Liberty Falls version with Revelations. While sure, they added a beautiful skybox into the center area of this map, I feel like this map really died hard because it didn't capture what made the launch of Black Ops 6 so unbelievably special. And I think this is where the majority of zombie players still have not gone back to the game after the launch, because they played Citadel, they played the Tomb, and they realized, man, I don't really care about Shattered Veil and Janus Towers coming for DLC 3 and DLC 4. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I genuinely think that this map probably could pass as like a custom zombies map. I think there's plenty of custom zombies maps I've even played that are far better than this map. And I gotta say, like, even though this map did try and do different things, it definitely failed in terms of the regard of making it an experience that people wanted to play. And you could just see that, like, after a week this zombies map came out, literally nobody was talking about it. The boss fight was literally a piece of furniture with the Sentinel artifact. It did not do what it needed to do and capture the hype to continue the momentum from Citadelle Des Morts being DLC 1. And I gotta say, like, even though there's some really beautiful aspects of this map with each of the areas, it definitely doesn't really solidify what made zombies so interesting. Like, none of the areas, even though they're beautiful, really add towards the immersion of the narrative. Like, why are we in a certain area that looks like the Dark Ether? What does this mean? What does that mean? And also, the ending cutscene did not help either, with absolutely no dialogue. This definitely turned, especially myself, away from even wanting to learn, continue, and understand the Black Ops 6 zombies narrative. And I gotta say, the Tomb, even though it was a simple survival map for a lot of zombie players, it definitely deterred a lot of the community away, especially because a lot of the community has really been looking for interesting, unique maps, such as like Mob of the Dead, where it has its own narrative, where it can really stand by itself. And especially with the inclusion of the shock mimic in this map, people were not happy with them constantly reusing the enemies, on top of them bringing back the amalgam, on top of them bringing back the doppelgas. It really got a lot of people fed up, and I think that's why the Tomb still to this day remains the worst BO6 zombies map, continuing to stay at the C tier. And again, I don't think this zombies map even is that bad. It's just, it's not incredibly replayable, and that is arguably the biggest problem I could say to Black Ops 6 zombies as a whole. If you're not someone who likes to grind camos ammos and weapons and all that, and you just like playing a zombies map just because of its immersive experience, that is, I think, the biggest fault I can give to Black Ops 6 Zombies. Because even though a lot of these zombies maps have incredible boss fights, there's just something in terms of the main gameplay loop with constantly getting kill streaks and constantly like focusing on salvage and rarities as opposed to just putting your weapon in the pack punch once and it comes out great. I feel like the Tomb really was where I started getting fed up with the system, and it didn't gel as well as the other maps that we saw back like with Terminus and Citadel, and that is why I think the Tomb fails. Even though I think the Easter egg is really simple, really simplistic, this map really ends up just becoming like a Liberty Falls 2.0 and really falls flat on its face, and I think this map is definitely the cause as to why so many people fell off with Black Ops 6 Zombies. But I do have to say it was pleasantly surprising to see the next Zombies map coming up after this really changing the pace for a lot of the Zombies community, being Shattered Veil. Now, Shattered Veil definitely picked up a lot of the slack that the Tomb sort of started with BO6 Zombies, because a lot of people just thought that every Easter egg cutscene after this that there would be literally no dialogue, and Shattered Veil definitely got a lot of people, including myself, surprised with the intricacy of the Zombies map, the complexity of the Easter egg really being something akin to what we saw in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, as well as a massive focus more on the wonder weapons being viable rather than kill streaks, like with the Wonderwaff being so powerful. And I think that is why I definitely enjoy Shattered Veil over the Tomb. While I'm not actively going out playing Shattered Veil all the time just because I find playing the Zombies mechanics on BO6 to be boring, I mean, literally every single game I played of Shattered Veil, I ran Hidden Power, which means that I would instantly get my main weapon to max rarity, because I just can't stand using the arsenal machine in BO6. And also, like, the way the mystery box works as well, where every sort of weapon can be spammed in the box multiple times, it was just not it because of the rarities. I still think that this next Zombies game, if it has triple pap and the rarities coming back, it's going to deter a lot of OG zombie players, including myself. And regardless though, the Wonderwaff in this map, I would argue, is probably the best wonder weapon in all of Black Ops 6 Zombies so far. I definitely think that the Wonderwaff did itself justice, being an instant kill pretty much all the time. It just takes a little bit of time to instantly take out the zombies. It stuns the zombies. It's really strong. I think this map had an excellent boss fight, probably one of the top like 10 boss fights Treyarch has ever created, arguably even top 5. The T-Rex boss fight for Mr. T-Lex, I'm telling you, T-Rex, they cooked. The intro cutscene as well for this map really should have been what the Liberty Falls one. I mean, the Liberty Falls intro is technically Shattered Veil's intro. Liberty Falls just did not do a good enough job in terms of the story. We don't even know what that story means in terms of the last map coming into Janus Towers. And I definitely think Shattered Veil at least got us somewhat excited for that map. Obviously, with the return of Richtofen and obviously the Chaos storyline tie-ins, this map really shattered the veil between all of the different storylines that the game had and actually made us somewhat excited towards the finale of this game. And I think for a lot of people, it's surprising because I do see a lot of OG zombie players say that Shattered Veil is their favorite zombies map experience. And I think that is definitely a great job that Treyarch did to at least reel a lot of the OG zombie players back with this map. And I gotta say, the inclusion of double tap on this map was absolutely incredible. They definitely made double tap a much more viable perk for the way that this game system works by giving you a lot more points whenever you fire the weapon, obviously because you use it so much more often. And again, some of the Ray Gun Mark II variants, I'm not going to lie, are kind of caca, especially the one I'm using right now, like the Ray Gun Mark II-R, the Ray Gun Mark II-P. But the Ray Gun Mark II-W, the auto version, is incredible. I still think that, again, it would have been better to have new wonder weapons. I feel like Black Ops 6 really falters in terms of the uniqueness of the game. There's not enough unique wonder weapons. The majority of the wonder weapons so far in Black Ops 6 are just brought back from another game. Again, also a lot of the boss enemies are brought back either from from other games or just from Terminus with the Amalgam or Citadel with the Doppelgast. And I think that is definitely one big issue that this game has. However, the story, at least in Shattered Vale, at least got us somewhat interested, even though I do think it was a massive segue that they pulled from Forsaken revealing Richtofen to finally getting our very first cutscene with Richtofen in Shattered Vale. Again, I don't count the Liberty Falls intro cutscene because that really should have been the intro for Shattered Vale, and it does seem like a lot of the BO6 Zombies maps, like the Tomb, like Liberty Falls, as of right now, to me at least seem filler. And I think the biggest issue I have with Black Ops 6 going into Black Ops 7 is we already have some leaks knowing that Primus, the original Zombies cast, is somehow coming back for Black Ops 7. It's really to just capture the hype again, and I don't know if they are able to do that, number one, with a tie into the Warzone mechanics, and number two, without them really focusing on the narrative and the immersive storyline. Now, it doesn't have to be the storyline necessarily. It just has to be in terms of what makes a Zombies map feel alive. You know, a lot of the best Zombies maps, sure, they have great tie-ins with the story, but the environment itself is definitely what makes a lot of zombie players so excited. And to me, I personally don't feel like Call of Duty Zombies has much of a future because so many people are so fed up with the Warzone mechanics, including myself, that we just don't even really want to give a lot of these Zombies maps a try because they keep continuously copy and pasting the same mechanics, the same bosses. And it's sad that we have literal custom map creators that do this for free, where it's like less than 3 people working on a Zombies map that can deliver more of a unique, authentic Zombies experience than even Treyarch, a AAA studio, can. And again, I don't think Black Ops 6 Zombies is a bad game. I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying. I think this game is a good game, and definitely they achieved what they were trying to do, which was to make Zombies more of a casual mode. This is evident with the directed mode, increasing the amount of people being able to complete the Easter eggs by 2 times. That's a huge deal, especially when the amount of people that completed the BO3 and the BO4 Easter eggs were definitely less than 5% on probably every single one of the Zombies maps, and I have to give them credit for that. However, them bringing back field upgrades, rarities, triple pap, which doesn't really do too much, and again, a lot of a meta in terms of Zombies, making it more similar to Warzone and multiplayer, definitely made zombie players shy away from it. And after my 250 hours, the majority of those really were for the camo grind, and I have to say that even though I enjoyed the camo grind, and I definitely have played probably half as much as I played in terms of like Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3, I don't know how long the longevity of this game is going to last, even though I do think it has a lot more Easter eggs than Black Ops Cold War. To me, it's the gameplay systems that really hold it down, and I really hope that Black Ops 7 can prove me wrong and add in a lot more of the OG systems that people enjoyed without alienating the current fans of Black Ops 6 currently. And so I have to say, is Black Ops 6 Zombies worth buying after me putting in 250 hours? I gotta say, if you're a Warzone multiplayer or casual Zombies fan, you don't really care too much about the immersion or the elements of the game, it absolutely, I gotta say it is. I still gotta say, I got a plenty of content and time put into it. But however, if you're looking for this game to have the longevity and the life of, let's say, a game like Black Ops 4, where people are playing it 5 to 10 years literally after its release, especially with a game like BO3, I don't know if Black Ops 6 is going to do that for you. But ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy this review of Black Ops 6 Zombies, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in that next one.